Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Slcmof, and I'm back again with another video, and in today's video I'd like to talk about who the main villain is in Batman v Superman. So, in Batman v Superman, there are at least two major fights involving both Batman and Superman. The first one is a Batman v Superman mano-a-mano. That's the one where Batman has the armored suit that we've seen from the comics and that kind of thing. It is laced with Kryptonite, and that will be the initial fight that we also saw in the teaser trailer at first, with Batman in his heavily armored suit. Also, it is quite easy to distinguish which fight Batman is fighting against Superman and which one he is fighting against, in my case, I believe to be Bizarro, but we'll get to that in a minute. So obviously when Batman fights Superman, he has his big suit on to defend him from the massive punches and blows that Superman can deliver. However, in the final fight sequence that we see in the trailer, Batman mysteriously doesn't have this suit on, so he's clearly not fighting Superman, and we could also go into a series of other pieces of evidence like the width of the beams being shot at him. They're much wider than they are in Man of Steel with Superman's rays, so this is clearly not Superman, and by the fact it has been confirmed that Zod is in this movie, we can kind of connect the dots here. So, spoiler alert, there's going to be a bigger enemy in Batman v Superman. I'm sure you all are aware of that, but Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are going to come together at the end of the film in the final act of the film and fight against this common enemy. So who is this common enemy? So rather than starting who I think it is straight away, let's go with who it is not. Who is not the enemy in Batman v Superman? And that is Doomsday. Doomsday is not in Batman v Superman. Somebody by the name of Sean Ray, who worked on the 3D character models in Batman v Superman, posted a picture on Twitter about Doomsday. It was unrelated to the film. Somebody, a fan, in the comments said, how was editing Doomsday in Batman v Superman or something witty like that, and his response was, ha 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 ha, lol, unfortunately he's not in the film. After this happened, only a few hours afterwards, his Instagram was taken down, and he probably got in a lot of trouble because he's, of course, breaching his NDA, non-disclosure agreement, by saying anything about the film, which you're not allowed to do. So, unfortunately, that was kind of revealed for us. I would have liked to know as least and as minimal as possible regarding who the enemy is going to be in the film, but it definitely is not Doomsday. He said so here. This is a creator of the film itself. Going along with what I said about Batman not having his armor, meaning that he's obviously not fighting against Superman, it is definitely possible that Batman is fighting a Kryptonian of sorts. Now, if you can remember from the initial trailer, all that is confirmed to exist in the DC Cinematic Universe is green Kryptonite. Blue Kryptonite, however, which weakens Bizarro and actually strengthens Superman, presumably, is not confirmed to exist at all. So there are two different directions we can take this Bizarro thing. The first direction is that Bizarro, who of course is the opposite of Superman, is the one confronting Batman in the teaser trailer. That's absolutely amazing if that's the case, because we did expect that this was a dream sequence, although there is the possibility that this is indeed Bizarro, the anti-hero, the anti-clone of Superman, the exact opposite of Superman, confronting Batman here in the bunker. And if we are taking that route and we are buying into that theory, then Lex Luthor may be putting his hands on not Superman, you guessed it, Bizarro. So that is in fact Bizarro that he is controlling. So despite our initial impressions that this is Superman, who is looking very unhappy that he's being controlled by Lex Luthor for obvious reasons, if it is indeed Superman, we could conceive of the notion that this is actually not Superman at all, but rather Bizarro, and the reason that he's looking angry is not because he's being controlled by Lex Luthor, but rather that he is Bizarro. He's evil. Now, we could also take this a totally different direction, as Bizarro is not, in fact, a complete clone of Superman, but rather a rendition of Zod. He is a kind of Lex Luthor creation that is created in Zod's body, but it is indeed Bizarro himself. This, I believe, is even more plausible because we know that General Zod is going to be in the film. If you remember, that story came out about him being trapped in the porta potty. For those of you who don't know, him in this movie, he confirmed, the actor himself, that he has flippers in the film. We don't exactly know why that is. That doesn't have anything to do with Bizarro, but nonetheless, in this particular scene he was shooting, he had flippers on his hands, and apparently he was in a porta potty and he got stuck in there because he had flippers stuck to his hands and he couldn't get out of the porta potty. So my point in saying this, of course, is not to share this highly boring story, but rather to say that he's in the movie. Zod is in the movie, and he's not sitting restlessly dead. He's actually in the movie. Here's his actual statement, just so you guys know that I'm telling the truth here. He says, "I was in my costume, and I couldn't use my fingers because in the sequel, I have flippers instead of hands." Of course, the sequel he's referring to, Batman v Superman. So I had these wax flippers on my fingers and I couldn't open the door, and I could hear Zack Snyder being like, "Where's Shannon? Where the heck is he?" And the whole crew was standing around like I was knocking on the door with my flippers. "Let me out of here." If that's not enough evidence for you, then look at this Easter egg. You'll miss it if you blink. However, in the end of Man of Steel, there is a very subtle hint that Zod will be in Batman v Superman as Bizarro, and as you can see, he's spinning Batman around here in circles, and you get a close-up on his eye, and there is red, and there's obviously nothing red in the background here. All there is the city skyline. You can see it in his eyes, and it is red, which obviously represents Bizarro, which is incredibly interesting, and it's very possible that he put it right in front of our face here in 2013, 3 years, in fact, before the film came out. Obviously, it's very subtle. You have to look at it very closely. I don't know how anybody saw this, but if you look at it, it is glaring that his eyes are red for no apparent reason, because, of course, his pupils himself, naturally are not like that. So, will Zod become Bizarro and not Doomsday? Doomsday's already been leaked to not be in the film. Look at characters like Darkseid, they're going to fit better into JLA 1, JLA 2 in 2017 and 2019. So, to me, it's pretty clear in my mind. So anyway, guys, I hope that you all have enjoyed the video or learned something new. If you did, you can feel free to like button, and don't forget, in March 2016, the Red Capes are coming.
Again.